We're Kaci and Brian, and this is Micah. We plan to fix up our house and hopefully sell it for enough cash to start a new life off-grid in Maine. This is our beginning. So please subscribe, like, and follow our journey. All right, good morning. Bit of an impromptu camping trip. It's kind of how we do things. There's Micah still watching me. We kind of just get up and decide, so there's not really a lot of planning going on. So we're gonna get this guy hooked up. This is probably gonna be the very last camping trip with this thing. We're just about ready to pull the trigger on not necessarily newer but bigger full-size RV, and we're gonna have to change the tow vehicle. So not quite, but we're almost there. So all right, let's get this thing hooked up. Dinosaur Valley. Alright, so I mentioned maybe talking about towing vehicles in the last YouTube video. Last camping YouTube video. To give you an idea, this is a 10-foot pop-up camper. The gross vehicle weight is 2,500 pounds, 225.50. And I believe that is empty, so without all your camping gear, without all your wood and all that junk. This is a V6 2002 Jeep Liberty. Has a 3.7 liter V6, and its max towing capacity is 5,000 pounds. So we're well under the max towing capacity of this vehicle, which is what you want to be. You don't want to tow your max. You can get pretty close to it, just don't. If your trailer weighs 5,000 pounds and your car can tow 5,000 pounds, and you loaded your trailer up with all your extra gear, you're going to wear out your transmission, have suspension problems, the engine, stuff like that. So maybe we'll go into depth a little bit more about that later in the video. But you can see a pop-up camper, you have some pretty good options. You can tow, a lot of vehicles can tow that. You know, this isn't a very big SUV at all, so any mid-size truck, I would say, or mid-size SUV and up is more than capable of towing just about any pop-up out there. They do get much bigger. This is a fairly, I'd call this a medium-sized pop-up. They do get smaller than this, believe it or not. They also get quite a bit bigger than this, so keep that in mind, but they're all fairly lightweight. Even the full-size trailers we're looking at now, 27 foot, are surprisingly lightweight for how big they are. Okay, we're here. It's kind of a bit of a drive. Pretty sunny out right now, but get this thing set up. It's gonna take like an hour. It's absurd. Let's get a tripod. I haven't really ever gone over how we have to set this up, but seeing as this might be the last camping trip, as you see, there's a crank back here. And you have to manually crank it up. I'm going to pull these slides out, like so. support beams under here that hold the weight
Or the weight and the dog's weight on that.
Yeah, or us. Whoever's gonna lay. These beds will snap right off if you don't put these on.
And why it will keep the campers.
I think I'm gonna set all this up and then maybe I'll walk you through. It's too much to do it step by step.
I'm gonna do 3 nights here.
Future Bryant here. We're actually packing up right now, but I didn't get around to showing how the little things that get set up inside the camper. So I'll just give you a quick tour of that. It's kind of cleaned up because I've got all the junk out of it, so it looks a little better. That's the kitchenette set right there. And this just folds down. And which turns off the lights. There's the kitchenette, whatever you want to call it. Fridge that just folds down, that way you can fold the camper up. And then after the beds are folded out, the only thing you got to do is put these support beams in here. So these just come down like that. And when you get to camp, you set them up. And that's it. That's pretty much it. And the table has to be folded down. Yeah, the legs fold and that lays down, and that can either be left that way as a bed or you set it up like this, but it has to be put in the bed position to close the camper. And there's basically the other bunk there that has our stockpile of Reflectix. When it's hot outside, we stick this stuff in all the windows, kind of like I showed you in the last camper video. And we put that in every window. All these unzip. Every single one of these gets one of those, and that makes a big difference in keeping it cool. But okay, back to past Bryant. We are just getting camp set up, I believe. So done, sort of. Now we're getting all the crap out of the Jeep, like food, and getting it organized. These campers are great, but they're a lot of work. They are a lot of work, and tearing it down is like double the work. We've had this thing about 3 years. We've loved it. I got it for like $2,000, and it was in pretty good shape. Had to fix a couple things. I think the last video I very much over exaggerated how much work that was to do.
Stay close by.
Okay. The outside stove didn't work. The faucet didn't work. The hitch was damaged and needed to be replaced. I think the DC system, I had to finagle some wires around. That's only if you're going to go off-grid and you want to use your battery for lights and DC lights, DC fans, stuff like that. And the roof. We used it the way it was for like 2 years. I don't recommend that. It had cracks in it, and with these campers have a fiberglass core, and if the outside plastic shell has holes in it or cracks, the water seeps in and just rots that away. So I ripped all that off and I used like a white bed liner. But like I said, we used it like that for like 2 years. It was okay. I think that's in focus.
And that's the mommy.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it's the mommy and the dad. How the daddy's big. That's the monster truck.
Yeah, that's the mommy
Bedtime
monster truck.
Here in the camper. Bedtime for this guy.
That was good.
Yeah.
As you do that. That's so cute.
I can't tell if it's in focus because it's too dark. I'm trying to manually focus it, but anyways.
You do a good job, babe.
All right, good morning. It is 7:20 a.m. Since we were up at the crack of dawn, because Micah doesn't like to sleep in at all ever, that we'd come down to the river and see the sunrise, which I don't think we're going to get to see because it looks like it's pretty cloudy. But anyways, the light's real nice. But we'll go down here and show you a few things. It's pretty cool. All right, this is the main track site at Dinosaur Valley State Park here in Glen Rose, Texas. And we see right in here, I'll get a close-up, are the, there's a bunch of different track sites. These are the only ones that I've been able to find. They're the, I guess the main ones. There's the easiest to see and the most of them in one spot. Oh, I love this part of the river. It's nice and early, so there's not a single other person out here with us. Alright, Mike has had enough. Going back to the camper. It's really all he wants to do is play in the camper. So we get out and see a little bit of nature as much as we can, but it's pretty short-lived. So it's alright. Got some drone shots, got some pictures. Probably not going to stay too much longer. It takes a while to get the camper packed up. So see you back at camp. This is not forced child labor. He wants to do this. I repeat, he wants to do this. Other way, bud. There you go. Alright, all packed up, ready to go. Hooked up, packed up. Seemed a little easier than usual.
Yeah. Maybe because it's not so hot.
So what?
So hot.
Man.